After 70 years of Babylonian captivity, Cyrus the Persian allowed exiled Jews to return to Jerusalem to rebuild their homes and the temple. They rebuilt the altar and laid the foundation, but stopped working on the temple for 15 years when some believed it was not the right time to continue and because of opposition from the Samaritans. The Lord called prophets to warn his people who had not made rebuilding his temple a higher priority. The prophet Haggai told the people to consider their ways and align their will with his. In Haggai chapter 1, the word of the Lord came in 520 BC to Haggai the prophet, to Zerubbabel the governor of Judah, and to Joshua the high priest. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, these people say the time is not come that the Lord's house should be built. He asked if it was time for them to dwell in their sealed or wood-paneled homes, and while they found time to rebuild their homes and courtyards, the temple lay in waste, waiting to be rebuilt. The Lord told the people why they did not prosper. Consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat but have not enough. Ye drink but are not filled. Ye clothe you, but there is none to warm. And he that earneth wages put it into a bag with holes. He sent his judgment and called for a drought upon them, because they neglected to rebuild his holy house. The heaven over them was stayed from dew, and the earth was stayed from her fruit. He told them to go up to the mountain, bring wood, and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it and be glorified. He stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, Joshua, and all the people who obeyed his voice, rededicated themselves, and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God, until it was completed and dedicated in 515 BC. Haggai chapter 2 consoled those who were disappointed with the temple's appearance, compared with its former beauty. Who was left among you that saw this house in her first glory? And how do you see it now? Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing? Be strong, Zerubbabel, Joshua the high priest, and all ye people of the land, saith the Lord, and work, for I am with you, fear ye not. The Lord was with the people by the word he'd covenanted with them when they left Egypt. Yet it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens, earth, sea, dry land, and the nations. The desire of all nations shall come, and I will fill this latter house with glory, which shall be greater than the former, and in this place will I give peace. The Lord's word told Haggai to ask the priests about the law of Moses. If one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and touch bread, pottage, wine, oil, or any meat, shall it be holy? They replied, No. And Haggai said, So is this people, nation, and every work of their hands before me, saith the Lord, and that which they offer is unclean. He warned that all that is unclean pollutes everything around it, and they should put God first in their lives. He said, Consider these things, and that their nation was capable of much greater things. The prophet Zechariah served with Haggai to encourage the people to rebuild the temple. Zechariah chapter 1 tells of the Lord's covenant relationship with his people. Turn ye unto me, and I will turn unto you. He warned how their fathers and city were overtaken by God's judgments when they refused to listen to and obey his commandments. Zechariah had 8 visions with many images and symbols about the future of the people of God, prophecies about the Messiah and his earthly ministry, and about events before his second coming. He was invited to ask an angel about each vision, who then explained its meaning. Zechariah's first vision was of riders on different colored horses that went all over the earth. He asked, O Lord, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem? The Lord answered with comforting words, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it. This vision taught about the merciful way the Lord will deal with Jerusalem. His second vision was of 4 horns that scattered Judah, and 4 carpenters and divine agencies that frayed or destroyed the horns. Zechariah's third vision in chapter 2 was of a man with a line in his hand measuring Jerusalem. He saw the city would be inhabited as towns without walls for the multitude of men and cattle. The Lord would protect it with a wall of fire and be the glory in her midst. His fourth vision in chapter 3 was of Joshua the high priest with filthy garments who stood before the Lord. Satan at his right hand accused him and was rebuked when Joshua put on clean garments. The Lord plucked a brand from the burning and brought forth my servant the branch, referring to Jesus Christ, whose power overcame Satan and cleansed Judah. Zechariah's fifth vision in chapter 4 was of a bowl of oil, a symbol of bringing about Jerusalem's destiny, not by might nor power, but by my Spirit. This was on a gold lampstand with pipes that fed 7 burning lamps. 2 olive trees on each side gave oil to the bowl, representing the Lord's 2 sons of oil, the anointed priest Joshua and the royal ruler Zerubbabel. In Zechariah chapter 5, he saw his sixth vision of a large flying roll or scroll, 20 cubits long by 10 cubits tall, that was a symbol of a curse over the whole earth. All who stole were cut off on one side, and those who falsely swore on the other. The Lord brought it into the house of thieves and those who swore falsely by his name, and it consumed everything. Zechariah's seventh vision was of an ephah, or basket, that went forth through all the earth. A woman who represented wickedness sat in it, and was covered with a talon of lead. 2 women with stork's wings flew away with it, and when Zechariah asked the angel about it, he was told it represented wickedness that would be removed from the people. Zechariah chapter 6 told of his eighth vision. 4 chariots pulled by different colored horses, representing the 4 spirits of the heavens, came from between 2 brass mountains. They went to the 4 quarters of the earth, where people were invited to bring silver and gold, and make crowns to put on Joshua the high priest's head, to spread the Lord's power over the whole earth. In Zechariah chapter 7, the Lord said he reproves hypocrisy in fasting, and wanted to know why people fasted. Execute true judgment, and shew mercy and compassions every man to his brother. Oppress not the widow, fatherless, stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. Feasts would then become festivals of joy. Zechariah chapter 8 told of how the Lord came back to Zion. I am returned unto Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, called a city of truth, and the mountain of the Lord of hosts, referring to the Lord's holy temple. I will bring them, they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and shall be my people, and I will be their God, in truth and in righteousness. Zechariah chapter 9 told a prophecy of doom that would afflict Israel, and Zechariah wanted to lift their burden and help them understand their potential. He prophesied of the Savior's kingship as he rode on a donkey that was a sign of royalty, and told Israel to rejoice greatly. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just, having salvation, lowly, and riding upon a colt, the foal of an ass. He spoke of the Savior's atonement. By the blood of thy covenant I sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Turn to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare, I will render double unto you. The Lord their God shall save them in that day as the flock of his people. Zechariah chapter 10 said that Judah and Ephraim would be brought back by the shepherd who controlled the elements. Ask ye of the Lord rain. He shall make bright clouds, and give them showers of rain, to everyone grass in the field. He would forgive, sanctify, and show mercy to his children. I will strengthen the house of Judah, save the house of Joseph, and bring them again to place them. For I have mercy upon them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them off. For I am the Lord their God, and will hear them. Zechariah chapter 11 told of a storm in the forest, and shepherds' voices howling. Their glory is spoiled, a voice of the roaring of young lions, for the pride of Jordan is spoiled. I will feed the flock of slaughter, even you, O poor of the flock. Jesus Christ taught that he is our Savior and Judge, when he took 2 staves and called one Beauty and the other Bands. I took my staff Beauty and cut it asunder, that I might break my covenant which I had made with all the people. He is the shepherd who offers salvation and judgment. Zechariah prophesied of the price the Savior would be sold for, and that his flock would suffer. They weighed for my price 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said unto me, Cast it unto the potter, a goodly price, that I was priced out of them. I took the 30 pieces of silver, and cast them to the potter in the house of the Lord. In Zechariah chapter 12, the Lord said, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and Jerusalem. The city had suffered greatly, but he would provide a defense, and make it a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Zechariah wrote of the guilt of those who looked upon the Lord and pierced him. They would mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and be in bitterness for him as one is for his firstborn. Zechariah chapter 13 told of the Savior's atonement and death among his own people. One will say unto him, What are these wounds in your hands? Then he shall answer, Those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. I will say, It is my people, and they will say, The Lord is my God. In Zechariah chapter 14, the Lord told of the great day leading into the millennium. I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city will be taken. His feet shall stand upon the Mount of Olives before Jerusalem on the east, and it shall cleave in the midst toward the east and west. There will be a great valley, and half of the mountain shall move north and half south. It shall be one day known to the Lord, and living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half to the former sea and half to the hinder sea. Because of the holy God's presence in the midst of his holy people, there shall be upon even the bells of the horses holiness to the Lord, and the pots in the Lord's house shall be like the bowls of the altar. And these are the books of Haggai and Zechariah in the Old Testament. Look for hidden images located in the video. You can support Ponderfun by visiting our Etsy site with coloring pages and activities, or our Ponderfun.com website and Facebook page to find more fun things to do. Please like and share these videos with anyone you think might enjoy them. Also, please subscribe to this Ponderfun YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching, and find some time this week to ponder.